Hello everyone and welcome to my first project video. So like I said in my last video, I'm just going to explain a bit about each of my short pieces of writing that I've got currently entered in different competitions. I might do this all in one video, so it'll be a bit of a longer video, but you know, as they're all short pieces, so I'll try and, to the best of my ability, tell you a bit about the concept and my thought processes and just kind of how I went about it, really. So this first one I want to share with you, it's called A Taste of Childhood, and this is from the Cinnamon Press competition. And the Cinnamon Press mini competition, they always have like a theme. I entered one for the first time I think last year, and that one was on the theme of, oh actually no, I'm getting mixed up. On Cinnamon Press they have almost 3 separate kind of publishers. I think that's how it works. So they have Cinnamon Press, they have their partners of Licorice Fish Books, and they have Envoy, and Envoy is more for like poetry pamphlets and everything, but Licorice Fish, some books also do competitions on that website sometimes. So I think that one, that they did a mini competition on a theme, and that was What Lies Beneath. So that was the one I entered. Didn't get anywhere with that piece of writing, but for this one I've entered, it's Cinnamon Press, and it's on the theme of A Taste of, and then that instantly just, well, the word taste is obviously what really stood out to me, as it would in that theme, and I just got inspiration to really explore this as a sense. So if I quickly read you like the opening couple of sentences of my piece. Out of all the senses, taste is the most impactful. Particular tastes can last with us forever. They seem to possess this amazing ability to de-age us. There are many that even to this day send me back to the moment when I first experienced them. So it's as you can see, it's written in first person, and it goes on. It's from a woman's point of view, and it goes on. Each paragraph is describing a different taste. So the first one is kind of meant to represent spring, second one's summer, the third one's, it's kind of summer but the weather's not as nice, so I guess if you wanted to say it's starting to head towards, well actually no, it was just something I kind of kept in my own mind to keep track of. But in my story, the woman, she hasn't had a very good childhood, so if I read you, let's see, what could I pick out? So this is like from the second paragraph, sorry, of like the first scent she's talking about. So the heady fragrance of bluebells transports me back to spring, stroking petals and drinking in the pine-scented air. And then if I skip down a bit on this same paragraph, how could, and this is going to be a bit out of context, context, so bear with me. How could I make them sacrifice so much in an attempt to cover the cracks that would devour in the bricks of our house? And besides, their bubblegum blue would not match the sepia walls, so it's like trying to show that in comparison, her house is like a negative place to be, like a negative setting. And then, so it continues with that. So we've got the bluebells, then she has the sweetness of strawberries, the sharpness of salt, and then it gets quite dark. So it then goes on to say, if love could be described as a taste, it would be the metallic taste of blood. So she had a very abusive childhood, which I've never actually done any writing about those kind of issues before. Like obviously I have done research in the past, and obviously you hear about stories all the time in the media and everything, and I wanted to give it a go, like to try and portray it to the best of my ability, not claiming to be like an expert or having any personal experience, but I think that's the good, like the good thing about writing. It's like stepping outside your comfort zone and trying to create these pieces of writing that you don't necessarily have experience with, because if we only wrote what we knew, it's just so limiting, like creatively and everything, and it's good to try new bits of writing. So yeah, bless her, that's one of the sentences she has. And then if I go down, I think I'll read out this entire paragraph because it kind of sums up what happens, although this isn't the end. So, crackling, the fire... bleh, I can't speak, I'm sorry. Crackling, the fire billowed higher and higher, the smoke carrying my nightmares away with them. I sat on the snow-covered hill and I watched and waited, until the sirens and cerulean lights pierced my veil of peacefulness. I did not struggle when they came for me. I simply followed them and entered the car, knowing it would whisk me away to a place where I would at long last be untouchable. So, it's basically saying she's gotten discovered by the police because she's burnt down the house of her parents because they were not very nice people. So, she took the decision to obviously kill them. And then it goes on to, it's kind of like, obviously with that, it shows she has a really troubled past, and then it moves on to this. This is like a time skip. So it's, today I had a vanilla sundae topped with strawberry sauce. They rarely serve dessert here. During visiting hours, the local florist, who I used to speak to on my way back to the house every day after school, smuggled me a bluebell as she knew they were my favourite. In the exercise hall, the salty taste of sweat crossed my lips, and the stale stench of bodies made me think of those two adults who supposedly raised me. Later, blood splattered the corridors as two women started fighting one another. I smirk, knowing now that it is not because they love each other. Outside, the wafting smoke of cigarettes that filtered through the holes in the barbed wire fence reminded me of my victory, the actions that led me here. And then it ends with like a ... and then the line below is like just a single sentence, prison. So she's obviously gone to prison for her crimes, but as you might have noticed on the first bit, each of the scents, like the tastes she's described, it's happened on that day, today. So she's had all of those different items, and they've obviously transported her back to the past. And then she goes on to speak about, her mixed up way of how prison is her home. And then later on, her name's Emma, by the way, and there is a bit of dialogue. It's like, I've inferred it's like a psychologist. He's trying to help her because they don't want to believe that she killed her parents. And it's kind of like her conflict with that, because if I read you this paragraph, I'm skipping down a bit, but it's like, tastes are acquired and they can also be refined. This means I could forget about my past if I wanted to, but I fear if I do, I will no longer be able to trust anything. I will no longer be able to tell if those bittersweet memories actually existed. What if my imagination created them? How will I be able to hold on to the tiny strips of light that my taste buds produce? Who will believe my story? So I was kind of trying to convey how, even though her past was really dark, there were moments where she was happy, like she was surrounded by nature, so her house may have been horrible, but there were good things about her past, and she's worried that it's like she's doubting herself, like, she's worried like tastes can change, and it's that fear that if they do, will she be able to remember and everything. So I quite liked playing off of the whole idea of senses. I'm definitely gonna do separate videos for the other bits. And then it kind of ends with earlier on in the story, she is the summer one with the strawberries, and she's lying on her back and she's looking up at the clouds, because they're like her only companions. She doesn't have any friends. She's very isolated as a child, and it ends with she glances up at her ceiling and she's picturing the clouds, and then so I've got the sentence here. I glance up at the ceiling and I picture the clouds floating gently above me, their shadows noticing me. Thank you. at least I know you will always believe me. It ends like that. So that is A Taste of Childhood. I was really proud of it. I don't know if it will win, but for me, I'm really proud of this story, so I hope you liked it, and I'll do some other videos on my other pieces, and they hopefully won't be as long, so sorry about that. But if anyone watches this, thank you, and good luck with creating your own pieces of writing. Bye!